So, if you had your choice to have a phone app to vote, to have a say, as opposed to if you do decide to vote, as opposed to going in voting by mail or something, would you take it? Could you imagine there would be? I mentioned about having a touch on your phone app. Imagine if that's what you were used to vote. Would you use it? I often wonder where technology can take, and I imagine that that's got to be something as a thought process. You know how evil and rigged that Trump wants to be about trying to take away with mail-in voting or coming to vote machines. So why not just have it on a cell phone where you could just have access in the privacy of your home, but would Big Brother be watching you? How would you feel about that? Imagine if you got to vote with your cell phone. Would they be tracking your voting? I ask this because they do watch you on social media. They watch your whereabouts. It's just a big old game that gets played. But I am very curious about this. How would you feel if this was somehow the norm? If this became the normalization that you could have your phone as your own personal your own personal app where you could vote and dictate who you wanted to vote for and what you wanted. Would you feel comfortable with that, or would you like to go behind a curtain and pull it and try your luck? So often than not, you're led to kind of want to think that you have more privacy, but how much privacy do you really have? What do you really have? It's an interesting tale that we live in, we spin in, but it's just a good question. If you had a phone app with your own personal app, would you use it to vote, or would you rather go behind a curtain? It's a simple question because do believe that in a not so far distant future that might become the normalization. If they do away with people going, and there's always going to be polls and things like that, but what if people had access to a phone app? They could vote from home, on their back, on their computer, and just do their thing without having to be bothered with leaving. I mean, we do business all the time from away from home. We do stuff all the time from different places. So why not have it with a phone app? You don't even have to a PD file. You just have it on your app, your own personal app with your name. Imagine that. You get taxed, but you buy it. That's like becomes your oh, that comes your source number of information. Could you imagine that? Hmm. I want to think in a future tense way. I want to think in a future way. I want to think of something that makes sense that will be part of something that will be everlasting. So could that be something that you would openly welcome and embrace? Imagine that. No more go through the mail, no more registrations and all that. Everything is on your phone as an app. Then you just push a button and you say, yes, I want this person, I want that person. How simple that would be. But would Big Brother be watching you? Hmm. See, those are the constant, continuous things and thoughts that we have going through our mind. What would that be like? We never know, but that's the kind of reality that we live in. You know, part of the future of the unknown. But that comes before before too long. But I am curious though what people would stand if you had your own phone app. Would you use that to vote, or would you still want to go behind the curtain? Simple as that. It's a good question to think about and ponder because the technology in the future changes everything that you remember. And maybe there will be a day when you have all that access by just touching a button. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for nothing. Share it if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.